Okay, this is another quick video, guys. I'm going to go over how to update or keep updated your NGUID nums. These are the numeric values used in next-gen unique ID values. So in the address it hybrid model, NGUID nums have their own column right there. So in this case, we're going to update them. The premise here is like you've been working on this for a week or several days, a couple days, and you've not been updating them because you knew that you could do it all at once, like once or twice a week or once a week or something. So you're ready to do that. So as you can see, these are essentially new points. And for whatever reason, some are all null, some have some zeros and blanked out things, but none of that should matter. Filling in some of this stuff that is not a number is a different thing. We're not going to worry about that. This is just showing you how to update this column right here. So to do that, we're going to go to catalog. Some of you may like not catalog, to Art Toolbox. Some of you may like to get to your toolbox from catalog. That is certainly a way to do it. I like to have this in, I like to access it from the toolbox. So this is the SDR scripts toolbox that everybody has access to via GitHub. And for most of you, it gets updated automatically in the mornings or whenever you log in. So in that toolbox are a handful of tools that we can use to keep this updated. And we will do a couple different tools. So I'm going to go to the tools for NextGen 911. And there's stuff in here that we may or may not use. And in this little subtool box, this is NGID tools. These are tools specific to dealing or managing NGUID IDs, okay? And the very first one here is add new ID values for new features. It doesn't necessarily have to be a new feature. It would be really anything that currently doesn't have a number. Okay, so I sorted ascending here, and these all pop to the top because they don't have a number. If I click that, that takes me to the bottom. Everything else has a number. Okay, so I'm going to clear my selection, and I am going to the toolbox. I am going to run this tool, and I may have to, okay. Select layer to check for dupe next-gen global IDs. That message should probably be changed, but we're not going to worry about it right now. We want the layer. We're going to work on addresses. Trust me, that's the layer we're in. And the ID value field that we're going to check is the NGUID num. And if you don't check this, it will run the tool and tell you what the biggest number currently used is, and that's it. But if you check this, it's going to update the values that need updating. So I'm going to say OK. And this runs fast. It did it. It told me what the biggest number used, and it created new ones. And it says done. And I'm going to close. I'm going to go back to my table, and it doesn't look like anything happened. But that's just because the table hasn't updated. If I just scroll this, you can see now that these all have numbers, right? And then if I sort this ascending now while the new ones that I just did are selected, so we can kind of have a visual confirmation, I'm going to sort ascending. I'm going to go to the very bottom of my table. And I can see that, oh, look, there was the most recent one used, and it did. It picked right up and added sequential numbers in. So that's how you keep that updated. As we've talked about on a couple calls, that's half your battle to being able to accurately calculate your next-gen actual ID. which these are what the IDs look like. But once you know the number, all you really need is your agency ID. And, that's a thing we could do right now, too. I'm going to copy that. In some projects, it may not be apparent. Like if you have multiple PSAPs, you may not want to just do a straight on calculate. You're going to need to know what PSAP your polygon, your point is in. But let's just, for the sake of argument, this is a simple county. I'm going to update the agency ID. And now I have everything I need to calculate what the next gen ID is here. Ryan made an expression the other day that he showed people. But I believe there's already a tool that does this, guys. Yeah. In the toolbox, same toolbox. I believe it's the calculate next gen ID values to, or the recalculate next gen ID values to. I'm going to double click it. So it wants to know what layer we're going to do this in, and it's the addresses. And I'm going to recalculate the NGUID site. I'm going to pick the field containing the numbers, which is the NGUID num. And the pre-modifier, see, this was originally designed when Oklahoma likes address point spelled out in front of the number. Missouri may not do that at all. Oklahoma or Illinois and Alabama may have a completely different thing. So I know, though, because this is Cotton County, it's Oklahoma. I'm putting in what comes in front of the number. And then it wants to know what's the agency ID field because it's going to use that to build it. And it's by default, it's already filled in with agency ID. Just in case your agency ID value was in a field not called agency ID, you could pick something else. Anyway, I'm going to say OK. And it went real fast and did something. And let's see if it did it. Right now, it doesn't look like anything's updated. And again, we're calculating this one, not that one. And they're updated. It updated those. Not super important that gets updated frequently. Much more important that this gets that you guys keep this column updated. Let me clear this column and this column if possible. Those are the two. So that's it. That's how you do it. We did in your tools, SDR Scripts Tools Desktop, go to the Next Gen tool data set, the Tools Next Gen 911 tool set, and in here is a sub tool set for IDs, and I use this one to fill in new ones, and I use this one to actually update the values. So that's it. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Thanks, guys. Bye.